Welcome to the Chiefs. Ako po si Robbie Alampay.
I'm Mami Paminton of the Philippine Star.
I'm Ed Lingao.
Chiefs, believe it or not na naman tayo.
Oo nga eh. Baka hindi makatapos-tapos ang problema. Paulit-ulit, ano? Pare-pareho.
Ayun nga yung nakakadita. Well, hindi naman pare-pareho. I mean, naalala ko dati pagka nabalita mo, libo-libong cellphone nang nasa loob. Akala mo, that's as bizarre as it gets.
Ngayon, pati patayan eh. Problema. At nakakapatay sa labas.
Luma na rin yun.
Nakakakontrata.
Basta nakapanibago, may wifi.
Matagal nang may wifi.
Hindi, dati kasi bawal ang wifi. Nagpapalagay nga ng jammer dati.
Bawal nga ang cellphone, bawal yung wifi.
Kaya nga nakakadrag trafficking from the Bilibid. Dahil may signal
pero ngayon kasi meron ng liga na wifi.
Yan, bigay ng gobyerno.
Tapos meron pang food delivery. Pero may clarification naman yun. May pagkaklaro sila doon. So, pag-usapan na namin.
But I think we will be hearing tonight about more on a deeper level efforts to reform, to fix our penal system and the facilities.
Hindi naman siya mission impossible, at least, ano?
We hope not.
Just mission improbable. Hindi pa impossible. Ibang level yun eh.
Anyway, we'll be bringing in our guests for this episode in a bit. Again, welcome to this episode of The Chiefs. Tonight, Bureau of Corrections Chief General Gregorio Catapang Jr. Welcome back to the Chiefs General Catapang, finally, face-to-face.
Opo.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you for inviting me.
At saka finally, bago po format natin, isang buong oras po tayo ngayon. Tuwing pag-uusapan natin, believe it or not, nauubusan tayo ng oras. Tansya ka, mauubusan pa rin tayo ng oras ngayon.
Palagay ko. Nakikita mo ba kung gaano kakapal yung problema niya?
Hindi niyo po nakikita, confidential.
Half day lang, kulang pa dyan.
Sir, marami na intriga dyan sa binder na
yan po yung mga reports ko sa Congress about what happened. Yung nagkaroon ng commotion, nawala si Cataroha.
Sige.
Kay Cataroha pa lang yan.
Wala, no?
Tsaka yung mga,
Goodness.
mga United Nations laws na kailangan protektahan yung mga PDL, pati kababaihan, at saka mga Mandela rules.
Marami-rami yan, Robbie.
Hahapyawan natin lahat yan. Ako, ang unang tanong ko, kamusta po ang treasure hunt natin sa Bilibid? Yung mga hukay. Lalo na ngayon nag-uulan. Baka napunuan na naman yun.
Baka swimming pool na talaga.
Sana po maanod na kung meron man, makita na yung ginto.
Pero seriously, ano pong latest dun sa na yun? Yung investigations into that, what ultimately is that now?
Ang pang-feeling po namin is nag-gold hunting sila o yung Masita Treasure. Kasi parating may legend na kung saan nilagay yung bahay ng commander, doon tinago yung mga treasure. Katulad maniwala po kayo sa PMA, yung Superintendent's Quarters sa Camp Allen. Nung AD camp ako ni Senator Biaso na sumalangit daw po, may lumapit sa akin, sabi, Sir, hukayin natin yung ilalim ng Superintendent's Quarters. Nandun daw yung ginto, iniwan, 2 truck. Kaya lang, sasabog yun. Ay, naku, hindi natin pwede hukayin. Paano yung quarters namin? Sasabog pala.
Hindi naman po posibleng naunahan na kayo.
Hindi pa po nahuhukan.
Okay. Ibig sabihin ko, dito sa Bilibid, wala naman chance na nabukulan na tayo. Meron na nauna.
Wala naman po siguro.
Pero sir, nagkalinaw ba dun sa paghukay na yun, kung sinong gumastos sa paghukay na yun? Kasi I suppose that was not an official government project.
Nakisuyo po yung former administration na hukayin, ginamit yung equipments ng Bucor, pero ang nag-operate civilian.
Okay.
So yun po yung naging investigasyon.
But for something of that scale to happen, yung agencies and officers involved, are they kept within Bucor or inevitably as part of the investigations, there are other agencies, other officials that are inevitably must have known what was going on?
Kasi po, ginawa po noon, during COVID po hinukay yun eh. Tapos nilagyan ng trapal na wala po, during those times, wala po nakakapasok na tiga Bucor. Kasi nga, as secluded place, dahil ongoing nga po yung paghuhukay.
Okay.
Hindi naman siya ginawang mass grave, ha?
Ay, hindi po.
Hindi na, by way of introduction lang kasi you've been a year into the job, more than a year.
9 months po. 9 months po. October 24 po ako umupo.
So
Kaya
dati
hindi ko
po,
po makalimutan yung araw na yun eh.
nanggaling kayo sa military, ano po ang mas mahirap? Military or Bureau of Corrections?
Times 10 po dito sa Bucor. Kasi sa military, you go up the ladder, you parang magsisimula kang platoon leader, company commander, battalion commander, brigade commander, division commander, area commander, chief of staff. Ako, pagpasok ko dito, director general, parang hindi ako dumaan sa flow. So nangangapa po ako. And then of course, ang chain of command, walang chain of command. Walang leadership, no? And then of course, yung naging batas po yung RA 10575, lahat pong nakasibilyan na gusto mag-uniforme, binigyan ng uniforme na wala man lang training. And then, sabi sa kanila, within 5 years, dapat maging college graduate kayo, ma-fulfill nyo yung mga requirements for that position. Awa ng Diyos, hindi nila na-fulfill. Yung may 1,500 po na matatanggal sa mga nila
Personnel.
na personnel kasi hindi naman po nila pinulpil yung kanilang mga
You're in that process now?
Yes, opo.
But when you say na, and when you acknowledge na hindi naman ako nag-rise through the ranks there and pasok ako agad dito sa pinakang taas, is that by way of saying na kahit sinong ilagay mo dyan, madaling ikutan ng sistema?
Opo, kasi yung kultura na-develop. Ang problema nga po sabi ni Professor Narag, 3 yan. Structural, kulang kayong facilities. Organizational, flat po yung organization namin. Wala kaming officer corps eh. Out of the 6,000, 7,000 plus, o magiging 9,000 kami next year, ang officer corps namin 150 lang. So talagang flat na flat siya. Kaya pag nag-command ako, dapat nagagawin ng New Bilibid Prison Superintendent. For them to really, for me to really know na ginawa nila, I have to go down up to the platoon level. O yung mismo kung saan ina-apply. Hindi katulad nung dating pag chief of staff ka, pag isang command mo, lahat yan, pagdating mo sa field, ayos na, gawa na po. Ikaw, pag in-order mo, hahabulin mo sa baba, titignan mo. Supervise mo hanggang platoon level kung nagawa ba, na-execute.
Sige nga, paki-illustrate. Halimbawa, yung ganyang setup, may epekto ba yan sa, lagi na lang namin nababalitaan, kung ano-ano pinapasok right there in the New Bilibid Prison, nakakatabi lang ng opisina ng Bureau of Corrections. Diba? Siguro you can illustrate how that works na bakit ganun, pati yung bathtub, pati yung sauna, pati yung buong musical recording studio na ipapasok.
Opo, kasi po nga, yung structure natin, nandito ako sa taas, ko yung Bucor headquarters. Meron tayong kolonya. Tawag po dyan, Prison and Penal Farm. Let's say, New Bilibid Prison and Penal Farm. Iwahig Prison and Penal Farm sa Palawan. No? So, 6 po yan eh. To include yung Correctional Institute for Women, Prison and Penal Farm. So, lahat po yan, may mga, may mga commanders. Sila po ang dapat nagpapatakbo. Talagang sila ang sila division commander, pinapa-maneuver nila lahat ng tao nila. Sa akin po, dahil nga co-located ako, ine-expect ng taong bayan na lahat ng galaw dyan sa New Bilibid Prison, which is just a prison colony, dapat ako pa ang nagpapatakbo, which is wrong.
Okay. Sige po, General, sanay na kayo dito. We need to take a break kasi nga ang dami pa natin pag-uusapan. We are just warming up. We will continue our conversation with Bucor Director General Gregorio Katapang after this break. The Chiefs will be right back.
Bureau of Corrections is under red alert following a fight that left one prisoner dead. 9 other PDLs sustained gunshot wounds following a fight between 2 inmates. It's still unclear as to how inmates got hold of guns.
For his part, former PNP chief and now Senator Bato de la Rosa says lapses in bilibid security are, quote, unacceptable.
Sobrang lapses. That's unacceptable. Titingnan natin kung hanggang aabot ba sa kanya yung negligience of duty.
Welcome back. The Chief still with us, General Gregorio Katapang Jr., Director General po ng Bureau of Corrections. General, kanina nabanggit niyo nga, yung tinanong ni Ami, anong mas masalimuot, AFP or itong Bucor? Sabi niyo Bucor, 10 times pa, sabi niyo. Bukod dun sa mga problema, and really, nung binabanggit niyo pa lang nga, it was already overwhelming. On the other side of that, what helped the AFP and what helps the AFP is that it had a program, you had a modernization program, and despite all its flaws, the whole government was really behind it. Yung Bucor ba, has it ever followed any kind of blueprint for modernization?
Oh, yun nga po nakakapagtaka na after 50 years, no, ang pinakahuli pong 5 po yung kolonya ang pinakahuling prison and penal farm na pinagawa is way back 1973 sa Leyte. At ang huling nagpagawa po ng kulungan na yan, ang tatay po ng ating Pangulo. Kaya 50 years po after that, wala na pong pinatayo. So, good for 12,000 yung Bucor facilities, now po going to 51,000 and increasing. Opo, hindi po nahihinto ang
So literally 50 years, di ba?
Opo, 50
literally
years.
50 years.
Opo.
Pero sir, may structural problems yung kayo binabanggit eh. Like for example, the flat organization in itself is I can imagine it's terribly intimidating kasi that means that each officer is handling a lot more people on the ground. Hindi kagaya sa army, di ba? Meron kang general, colonel, major, kapitan, teniente, sargento, corporal.
And bawat platoon, may platoon leader, which is an official. Dito po, sila lang po.
But how do you resolve that problem? Di ba? In the end, it's about ranking, it's about the hierarchy. How do you solve that problem?
Kaya nga po, ngayon pa lang po nagsisimula eh. Kasi nga, 2013, naging batas, RA 70 o 10575, no? Nung na-implement, nailabas yung revised implementing rules and guidelines 2019 nung umupo yung previous administration. Iba naman po nangyari noon, which culminated to the killing of Percy Lapid. So no less than the commander of the Bucor was implicated. So ngayon lang po ako nagsisimula.
Problems inherited from predecessors ang first line.
Opo.
Pero I understand isang solusyon doon sa yung problemang yan eh. Not actually a solution, stopgap solution siguro. Napipilitan ngayon yung mga corrections officers to rely on the gang leaders, di ba? To maintain discipline among the prisoners. Kaya nagkakaroon ng nagkakakontrol yung mga preso actually sa mga illegal na activity. Dahil sila yung, the jail custodians, the prison custodians are relying on them to maintain discipline. So anong remedyo doon? Kasi talaga napakaraming tao eh.
Kaya nga po, yun po ang greatest problem na if they connive,
Yeah.
Hindi lang po PDL problema ko
Yes.
ngayon because of congestion. Yung leadership problem ko naman sa officer corps o the employees or the correctional officers of Bucor. Yung kultura po nung unang panahon na parang nagkaroon sila ng tawag dyan mga rights, vested rights.
Yes.
Yun po ang gusto ko pong sugpuin. Yung kultura ng culture of negligence, culture of walang pakialaman sa dilihensya, culture of no sense of duty. No?
Pero sir, I think that was a study of Professor Narag, di ba?
Opo.
I do recall na na among the reasons na sinight ni Professor noon was kakulangan ng personnel dahil kulang ka ng personnel, umaasa ang Bucor doon sa mga gang leaders. And therefore, the gang leaders exert influence over decisions made by prison officials. So it goes around and around. But in the end, it goes back to having enough people on the ground to manage everything. Para
Kasi
you're not counting on.
kasi they're forced to work with what they have. Di ba? Parang yun yung starting point.
Vicious cycle po yan. Sige, susundin kita, sir, pero bigyan mo naman kaming ganitong konting kalayaan.
Magninong ka sa kasal.
But speaking of, because this is... I really was looking forward to asking this. And not just because pangalawang beses na natin binanggit. No? He was a suspect, napawalang sala, we have to... But in that process, he spent more than 1.5 decades, I think, of his life inside jail. Not Bilibid, no? Kasi eventually siya. But I wanted to ask, because now Raymond, despite that, continued his education. He held a master's degree finally. He's now teaching abroad, one of the world's leading experts on remedial justice and prison systems. Gusto ko lang punta rin, because every time I read the news, binanggit niyo po, in-acknowledge niyo, I heard it even from the Department of Justice Secretary himself. We are consulting with Raymond Narag. What does that signal to us? When somebody like Raymond Narag, it seems to me, has a very big voice and has the ear of our leaders in the Department of Justice, in the Bureau of Corrections, from how you appreciate his own journey to the influence he now has in advising you. What does that tell people?
Yung nga po, I attended yung seminar niya kasi out of yung mga 700 na nirelieve ko para ma-recycle ko sila. Kasi anong gagawin ko sa kanila kung civil service? Hindi katulad sa military na outrightly you're dismissed from the service. Ni-recycle ko sila na, Prof, tulungan mo sila. But nag-comment ako kay Prof Narag. Sabi ko, Prof, please also emphasize na walang dead end. Kasi sasabihin, paano naman sir kami hindi susunod sa nakakataas sa amin? Baka yan na yung huling pagkikita namin pag di ko sinagot. Sabi ko, sa amin sa Armed Forces, may tatay, yung Chief of Staff, may Battalion Commander, Company Commander, Brigade Commander, Division Area. Pag may problema tao, doon ang takbuhan. There's no dead end. Walang problema sa chain of command na hindi nabigyan ng solusyon. Please emphasize on that. Kung umbawa, paano naman sir, mamamatay yung anak ko, kailangan operahan ka agad. Ito, mayaman itong PDL. Sasabihin ko lang, sir, pwede nyo bang sagutin yung operation? Siyempre, pag nabigyan ka nun, laking buhay yung na-save eh. O sabi, sir, walang pamatrikula yung mga anak ko. Makakapag-research ka dyan. Sila nakapag-graduate doon sa mga anak nila. So talagang ang laking utang na loob. Pero sabi ko nga, para hindi naman tayo nagkakaroon ng sobrang utang na loob dito sa mga PDL na in the end, nagiging vicious cycle of utang na loob. Sabihin nyo sa akin, sa AFP kasi may provident fund, may kung anong lahat na sinasagot, di ba? From womb to tomb, sagot lang sa AFP. Pwede natin gawin yan kasi uniform personnel na tayo. In fact, Congressman Arnie Pentabella, sabi niya, boss, pagka may problema kayo, katulad ng mga sinasabi mo sa akin, pwede ako mag-share doon sa aking, basta government hospital, sasagutin ko yung gagastusin ng anak o whatever na gagastusin. pati yung
then that cuts the-
Oo po.
the-
Yung utang na loob ang kailangan natin mawala. Sabi ko, Prof, wag mo sabihin na may dead end. Sabihin mo may solusyon. Nandyan yung commander. Kaya si General nilagay dyan para lahat. Di ba sa amin, mission accomplishment, and the second mission is take care of your men and look after their welfare, including their family.
So what does that mean when Professor Narag breaks it down? Na meron tayo dyang structural, merong cultural,
May organizational, opo.
ano pa yung iba?
Tatlo po yan, structural, kulang facilities, organizational, kulang ng leadership, chain of command, and then cultural, yung vicious cycle of negligence.
Okay, so lahat yon masalimuot, lahat yon deeply rooted. Where do you start?
I cut across. Kaya nga sabi ko lahat mayroon akong short term, yung quick wins, meron akong medium term. Ito, present ko na kay Presidente nung inilabas niya yung kanyang medium term development plan for 2020-28. Gumawa na po ako. And fortunately po, na-present ko kay Presidente. Sabi niya, ang ganda naman pala ng plano mo. May pipirmahan ba ako dyan para...
Pwede po pong i-summarize yun in 1 minute.
Ito po, yung congestion, in 1 minute, we will make Bucor relevant. I want Bucor to be a food basket, food security. Kasi ang dami po namin lupa. 28,000 doon sa Palawan.
Yes.
8,000 sa Iwahig. Kaya po lahat ng ang mga mababait na PDL, doon ko ladalhin sa Palawan. They're about siguro kung yung 30,000 na to, baka 20 or 25,000. Yung mga ayaw magpabago, doon po sila sa Supermax. Mayroong kasama po yan sa plano. Nandun sila sa Mindoro. Nasa Mundok. No? And then of course, sustainable. Gusto ko, dadating ang araw, hindi na po kami hingi ng pera sa gobyerno. Baka magbigay pa kami. Kasi nga po, yung aming property dito sa Muntinlupa, napaikutan na po kami, Ayala Alabang, Portipino, Ebia, Pilinbes, opo, Madrigal Center. Commercial na po yung lupa namin. Hindi na po bagay.
So matutuloy ba
So matutuloy yan? I mean,
kasama po ito sa 2028. Sarado na po.
Paano yung mga original buildings? Kasi I understand
Ito po,
historical buildings.
Ito po, dineclare. A museum po ito.
Yes.
We will generate funds dito sa mga lumang buildings. And then bawat selda dyan, kikwento namin dito
yes,
na
but the land.
yung list po, hindi po namin
I-release yan.
nilibenta.
Okay.
Nagkaroon na
May
po.
timeline na kayo? Yung...
Opo, nandito po lahat. Nasabit ko na po.
No, I mean, ano po yun?
Nagsisimula na po ako maglabas. Ngayon, naka 1,005 na ako. Nagtatransfer ako.
Paano yung pwede lang makalipat yung mga wala pang yung tapos na talaga yung trial, di ba?
Hindi naman po kasi with the present technology, Zoom na lang po sila.
So
Kahit yung
sila.
mga high value o mga may mga kaso,
isusum na lang.
isusum. Pero kung walang, kasi dinadala ko sila yung mga matitigas ang ulo doon sa walang signal. May hearing sila, ibababa ko sila, may signal doon.
Sige.
And then babalik sila sa selda nila.
Okay, we will need to take a break pa, pero very quick question. Doon sa lupa, dyan sa Muntinlupa, kung ililist na yung lupa, limited yung applications ng lease. Diba?
Hindi po.
Hindi.
May batas po ako na everything goes.
Everything.
I will declare that an agro, industrial, commercial.
Cannot be residential.
Pwede po kung high-rise.
Okay.
Opo,
So
hotel,
for it,
entertainment area.
Sige.
Opo.
Okay, we will continue our discussion with Bucor Chief Gregorio Catapang after this short break. Keep it here on The Chiefs.
Sa mahal na mga bilihin, hanggang saan kaya aabot ang 70 pesos para sa buong araw na pagkain? Ganyan ang pondong nakalaan sa kada preso sa Bilibid, kaya may mga namamatay sa malnutrisyon.
170 yung natagpo ang patay sa funeral home at sa 35% nito, nung ating pina-autopsy ay malnourished at probably died of malnutrition.
Dumepensa ang pinunang caterer sa Bucor na muna'y kulang ang serving ng pagkain sa mga preso.
2,000 kcal naman po ang per day po nila. So lahat naman po ng breakfast, lunch, dinner, pag pinagsama-sama mo naman po, 2,000 kilocalories po ang lumalabas.
Nasa kamay po ng Kongreso na magkaroon po na mas maayos na pagtrato sa kanilang mga kalagayan.
Welcome back to the Chiefs. We're still with our guest this evening, Director General of the Bureau of Corrections, General Gregorio Katapang Jr. General, kanina, we started getting into your options, no? For development, redevelopment, reform. Inevitably, we touched on the different properties of the Bureau of Corrections. Nabanggit niyo yung Palawan. So marami kayong land holdings. But di natin nabanggit, I wanted to ask, itong napapag-usapan sa Masungi, ano po ba talaga yung sitwasyon doon?
Yung Masungi po, declared na yung protected area. Of course, right now, it was leased or whatever to a certain NGO. And then, ang problema naman, yung lupa na yan, natituluhan na sa amin. That's about 270 hectares. So, there was a congressional hearing chaired by the Honorable Senator Nancy Binay. Ang sinasabi niya, don't touch Masungi, it might affect the ecological balance. And I agree. And then, sabi ko naman, but I'm also in possession of the property, I might as well turn it into good use without affecting the ecological balance in the area. That's why we are hiring a urban planner or ang tawag natin dito, environmental planner, so that it will not affect the ecological balance in the area, but still be useful for us.
So in other words, pangahawakan niyo pa rin yan, amin pa rin yan. In the meantime, on the concerns on the ecological side, there are other applications to this other than what people are afraid of. Kasi yun yung unang, parang magkakaroon ba dyan ng bagong facility, dyan ba i-relocate yung ibang You're saying, if I'm hearing you right, that's not necessarily where this is going?
We're saying that maybe in the future, we have already the study that we can also put up our training center in that area. Hopefully, it can be useful for both of us. No? Sabi nga nila, kailangan mabantayan yung Masungi cursed. Sabi ko po kay Senator, ako na po magbabantay kasi pinakamadali pong bantayan yan. Hindi po tatakas yan kasi nandiyan na yan. Natawa lang po siya. Pero sabi niya, hindi, wag mong gagalawin kasi baka pag nagdaglagay ka dyan ng mga PDL, magugulo yan. Sabi ko naman, yes, Your Honor, I'll not put any PDL there.
Walang PDL?
Wala po, walang PDL.
Kasi, hindi siya preso.
Hindi po preso. Hindi po. Pero pwedeng training ground. Kasi
parang gano'n.
Opo, and then they will be the one to preserve, help in the protection. Kailangan din, napakalawak po yung 270 hectares.
Is this something that you're discussing with government or is this something that you're actually in discussions with the other stakeholders, including the foundation, including the environmentalists and the local government?
We are just awaiting the final decision of the DNR. If it is really, they will renew the contract of the NGO that's now in possession of that property. It will be all right for us because that's the decision. We'll just follow, but we will keep the title.
Okay, so now the ball is in the hands of the DENR, and they have to make a decision on whether or not to renew their arrangement with the Masungi Foundation. That's what you're saying.
Yes po. Opo.
General, nabanggit nyo kanina yung internet connection ng mga drug dealer sa preso
Opo.
Tinatanggal nyo. Ano bang ginagawa nyo doon?
Kasi po, yung ICRC, because they want communication with their families, binigyan po kami ng 97 laptops. Tapos yun po, dinistribute namin sa mga pangkat. They are about 13 pangkats. So that they can communicate with their families. Para makakommunicate naman, kailangan nila ng internet connection. But we are not tolerating yung individual cellphone. Kaya po nagagalugad kami when nakukuha namin yung cellphone nila. We confiscate it. And then we turn around the cellphone into body cameras. Body cam, lagyan namin ng app. Pinapasuot namin sa mga gwardya.
Yung paggamit ng laptop, regulated ba yan? May nagbabantay ba? O
Opo.
basta iba, lalagay lang, babato lang dun dito sa maximum, sa minimum, at bahala na silang gumamit?
Meron pong Idalaw Center.
Sa Dalaw Center lang
Opo,
siya.
ngayon, yung because of the hearing, sabi ng Chair Dan Fernandez, yung po kinaganda ng hearing na nag-guide kami o whatever, na law o oversight kami. Sabi niya, para hindi na hiwa-hiwala yan, lagay mo na lang sa isang Idalaw Center. Pero sabi ko, sir, magtatawiran yan ng mga kasi usually ganyan nagkakaroon ng commotion pagka nagkakasalubong sila, no? Sabi niya, hindi, maglagay ka ng oras. So, we will follow the instruction na doon na lang ilagay sa isang Idalaw Center na lahat sila sama-sama na doon.
Kasi nakakanood kami masyado maraming TV shows o pelikula. Kapag nagko-communicate yung preso with the outside world, kontrolado Kuminsan, landline lang.
Opo.
Not even landline, kundi intercom lang actually Yun ang nakikita namin Kaya
Pero kasi po, yun po kailangan ng physical presence niya. Paano po yung hindi na, there's about 5,000 people who are not being visited personally. Kawawa naman din sila. So they need to see through the smart, yung phone o yung laptop nila, makita nila.
Landline na lang.
Could you expound on that a bit?
They will be also part of the initial na itatransfer na
to their regions.
To their regions. Kasi dalawa po yung batas na ipasa. Yung RA 10575 na requires that there will be regional prison sa buong Pilipinas. So kung tiga Region 1 ka, Ilocano ka, merong kulungan doon. And then all the rest, hanggang BARM. Tapos may isa pang batas naman dahil nga
Ilan pa po ang kulang natin doon? Anong regions pa ang butas?
Bali magiging 6 kung may 18 regions tayo o 17 regions. So kulang po mga 11 regions pa. Ang kulang. And then meron pa tayong Supermax, yung talagang mga heinous crime offenders, mga drug lords. Kailangan gagawan tayong Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. So, ibukod pa po doon sa regular regional prison and penal farms.
Sir, something naman close to my heart. Itong issue ng food delivery.
Yan nga, yung online orders
Can you qualify that? Ano yung pwede at ano yung hindi? If I understand correctly, yung sasabi niyo, the prisoners cannot do the ordering themselves.
Opo.
Yung kanilang mga kamag-anak lamang papadeliver doon, tapos ipapasok na ng gwardiya doon sa loob.
Opo.
Tama ko ba?
Tama po.
Pero, is that a normal thing to do? I mean,
nangyari po yan during the pandemic. Kasi hindi po sila pwedeng mag face-to-face, magpapadala sila ng pagkain. Walang dalaw po nun So, nauso po yung
yung pa-deliver.
Online delivery.
Pa-delivery. So, and then of course, na-carry over. But yung sabi ng Congress, pwede naman yan kasi ang meal nyo, 70 pesos.
per meal or per day?
Per day. 3 meals. Kumain po ako dun sa employees canteen nyo, 75 pesos na. Yung isang meal lang. Tapos isang chicken adobo po yung kinain ko Sabi ko, talagang hirap po kung magugutom po ang mga PDL, no? Human rights hirap na nga po sila sa kulungan kasi hindi ko po sila maisaksak sa loob. At any one time, 4,000 to 5,000 ang nasa labas. Kaya hindi mo mapapagbawalan yung makeshift na tinatawag nating kubol. Or else, maulanan sila. Dati sa basketball court, ngayon tag-ulan. Kung umulan pa naman, 1 linggo, 2 linggo. Kaya talaga po, ibabalanse po natin.
But you're saying hanggang ngayon, ilan libo ang nasa labas?
4,000 to 5,000 and increasing. Kasi po, pag,
every day or every night?
Every day po.
Living out.
Every night. Parang living out.
Living
Kasi
out.
pag pinasok mo sila lahat sa papadlock mo siya sa cell na nila.
Nabanggit niyo po yung pagkain, merong commission on audit report na hindi naman daw nasusunod yun nasa kontrata ng caterer sa Bilibid.
Yun po, na-explain din sa Senado, sinabi nila nagkakaproblema sila sa raw materials. Let's say order sila ng ganitong kadaming manok o baboy, hindi kayang i-supply, nagsa-substitute sila pero within the nutrients requirement pa rin po.
Pero malaki-laki nawala lahat ng karne, puro naging gulay. Malaki-laking tipid yun.
Opo. Kaya po, binabantayan po yun. May mga nutritionist naman po kami na they were already cautioned about this anomaly.
Pero tuloy-tuloy, yan yung ini-issue ng ibang senador. Bakit daw tuloy-tuloy yung kontrata ng...
Kaya nga po, pinapunta po sila during the hearing. Sila na po nag-explain ng kung bakit nagkakaganon.
Now, you presented this 5-year plan. Realistically, at the end of 5 years, ano pong nakikita niyong realistic na ma-accomplish natin?
Within 5 years, sarado na yung... Actually, ito unahin ko, CIW, yung sa Mandaluyong. 3,000 lang sila. More or less, baka nasa Palawan sila o nasa Davao. Kasi sa Davao, ang gusto raw nila doon yung tigapili ng saging, yung mga babae. Then, doon naman sa Iwahig, maluwag po, 28,000 hectares po yun eh. Kahit tag-isang hektarya, pwede ko ibigay sa mga PDL.
Ito po, sa serious question. So we have an idea of yung pagkakaiba ng sitwasyon sa lahat ng lugar. Kung ipapakulong natin si Ed, saan gugustuhin ni Ed magpakulong?
Mas gusto niya po sa Palawan para tabing dagat po siya.
Pero wala bang pushback from the relatives? Kasi mga kamag-anak ni Ed nandito sa Makati, halimbawa.
Yun nga po.
Hindi, pero bukod sa
dagat po eh.
Bukod dun sa location, if Ed takes everything into consideration, yung pagkain, gusto ko yung pinakamasarap na pagkain, gusto ko yung pinakamaluwag yung selda, pinakamaayos ang sistema.
Gusto ko may wifi.
But I'm serious. This is not to but of course, sabi nyo nga po, human rights to. We have to respect the human rights of our PDLs. But if you put it that way, alin lang sa inyo is actually diyan pinakamaganda ang standard ngayon ng natin?
Sa Iwahig po kasi dati ini-implement po namin yung prisons without walls. Kasama na nila yung pamilya nila. Opo, living out sila. Ang habol ko po kasi dito, makakontribute, maging relevant yung mga PDL. Na huwag nyo kaming maliitin kasi kami ay nagpo-produce ng pagkain ninyo. Kasi po sa dami ng lupa namin, we can help the President in the food security. 28,000 kaya yung 50,000 na PDL, pag pinagsama-sama ko sa Palawan, kahit nagkakalahating hektarya, pwede po sila magkaroon.
How much of the 28,000 hectares
Opo, hectares
is already arable, is already being...
Opo, ongoing
lahat
na
yun?
po.
Lahat yung entire 20,000 is
joint
already
venture na po kami ng Department of Agriculture and DOJ and us to start using these facilities.
Start?
Opo.
You're talking about relevance of the PDLs. May nabanggit din kayo kanina sa amin. Well, off camera.
Hindi po, joke lang po yun.
Yeah.
Kasi dando na po sila sa Palawan eh.
Yan na nga.
Kaya nga po.
Hindi kasi military siya eh.
Isang tanong na
Joke lang po yun.
joke sila.
Pero nando na po sila.
Binerify naman eh.
You know, we are uniformed personnel.
Exactly.
Yung po pinakamalapad, in fact, inooperahan ko po ang Department of National Defense. Baka pwede tayo mag-swapping ng lupa para kayo naman magkaroon ng lupa doon sa Palawan. Kung magre-reposition kayo ng troops doon. Kasi wala po kayong lupa. Nasa akin lahat ng lupa.
So ano yung kapalit?
Ang kapalit po,
ikaw magre-report sa akin pagka nasa Iwahig ka na.
Hindi po.
Payag na siya. Payag na.
Hindi po. Humingi po ako sa Port Magsaysay. Yung Supermax po, kailangan ko eh. May Luzon, may Visayas, may Mindanao. So sa Luzon, yung Port Magsaysay. Sa Visayas, yung Camp Peralta. No? Kapis yun. Nakatiwang ng lupa yun. 45,000 hectares po yun.
Hindi lang yun, nandun yung military.
Opo.
May military.
Tapos kami na po
Magkano na?
magbabakod doon ng lupa nila para hindi maiskwatan. Meron din po sila sa Camp Kibaritan. Kasi nga, alam ko naman yan, dahil nung nag-chief of staff ako, nakatiwang po yan sa bukid nun.
Okay
That's another 45,000 hectares na unproductive.
Kayo na ka ano.
Sold ka na.
Mamili na po kayo kung Supermax ang pagdadala nyo.
Hindi, kung minor offender nga lang eh. Hindi
Ay, kung minor offender po sa Palawan. Pag mabait ka, doon ka sa Palawan.
Ikaw, pwede
kasama
ka
mo
naman
pamilya mo.
Ikaw sa Supermax.
Hindi ka naman ito sa saging.
Hindi ba pwede yung program na magiging militia sila?
Depende
Minor
po
offender.
Pinipilit mo, hindi nga.
Hindi,
Joke
siya
nga lang
nagsabi
daw.
nun
Joke lang po, joke.
Siya kasi nagsabi.
Para masyado seryoso tayo, para matawa naman ako.
Matweet yan mo.
Siya nagsabi nun.
Baka bukas mag-react ng Chinese Embassy.
Okay.
Siya nagsabi nun.
Anyway.
Joke lang po, ma'am.
Ako hindi.
Sige, sir, anyway, mukhang nasa number 3 pa lang tayo sa confidential agenda natin. Si General Gregorio Katapang po, Director ng Bureau of Correction. Sir, maraming salamat. Kinulang na naman tayo ng oras.
Oo
Sabi
nga
namin.
May next ano po tayo.
Next installment tayo.
Sir, next time doon tayo sa Iwahig.
Field trip pa. Seryoso, field trip tayo doon. Sige.
Ganda sa Palawan.
Okay. Anyway, General, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, sir.
Salamat din po.
Thank you, General.
My pleasure po. My pleasure.
Here are highlights from our conversation with Bucor Chief Gregorio Katapang Jr.
Ako, pagpasok ko dito, Director General, parang hindi ako dumaan sa flow. So, nangangapa po ako. And then, of course, ang chain of command. Walang chain of command. Walang leadership.
Ano po ang mas mahirap?
Mas
Military or Bureau of Corrections?
Times 10 po dito sa Bucor. Ang problema nga po, structural, kulang kayong facilities, organizational. Flat po yung organization namin, wala kaming officer corps. Yun po ang greatest problem na if they connive, hindi lang po PDL problema ko yun.
Yes.
Ngayon, because of congestion, problem ko naman sa officer corps o the employees. Yun po ang gusto ko pong sugpuin. Yung kultura ng culture of negligence, culture of walang pakialaman sa dilihensya, culture of no sense of duty.
Ami, linawin lang natin, nag-joke lang yung sa militia. Baka ipirit mo na naman yung angulo mo. Walang storya doon.
As of tonight. As of tonight. Nakita mo ba kung gaano kakapal yung kanyang libro?
But because we get to think more about this, we spent a lot of time talking about reforms. Systemic reforms that also, in fairness to General Katapang, in past episodes, because we talk about cases, may namatay na naman, and so on, we never get to go deeper into it. And I'll be honest, it was refreshing listening to his plans, his vision for this, but although we have no illusions that any of that will be
Sinabi naman
easy.
niya, in 5 years, medyo mahirap-hirap nga naman. Pero at least may target na siya, di ba?
Ay, yung point niya lang about land swap, di ba? That seemed to me very practical. I think that's achievable. Dami nilang land holdings, and just doon lang sa point na kaya mo bang mag-build sa bawat region.
Kaya na.
That was a very clear plan.
Actually, marami na silang agricultural areas eh. Yung Davao Penal Colony, nandun yung banana plantation yun eh. And they get paid. Kaya nga tinatanong ko, uulitin ko, kaya tinatanong ko yung milisya.
When you think about it, massive ang land holding sila.
Yes,
May
agricultural,
28,000, may
it's ongoing.
40,000 hectares. Hectares to, hindi to square meters.
Yung ano nila, Florendo, uses the facilities.
Not only that, yung sinabi niya, diba, they're exploring partnerships on that. And when you think about all the discussions about we've had about one limitation to industrialized farming is wala ka mahanap na scale at scale na lupa.
Kaya.
They have it.
Meron sila, pero meron silang also leased to the private sector. It's part of the rehabilitation program. Yun yung bagong focus ng corrections ngayon, more on reintegrating the person
Pero to Robby's point kasi, hindi siya segmented like yung isinalim sa carp, na you're losing in terms
These
of
are
economic
not
scale.
no, these are not thousands of
Scales.
1, 2, 3 hectare properties.
Na isa-isa yung kumakayod para may mailabas sa
Hindi
kada
naman kasi sila
hektarya.
ano eh. Di ba that's one of the criticisms of carp eh. Masyado daw maliit yung ano.
In the meantime, he still has to work with the realities of, gaya na sabi niya, a flat organization.
Yeah, I can imagine how difficult that is, especially and you need to discipline all those people down the line. Tapos you're in charge of so many people pala.
Ang nagdi-discipline yung gang leader.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember yung PDL na involved kay Percy Lapid was killed by gang leaders actually. Yun ang mga suspect, hindi ba tatlo?
But Raymond Narag, I think when he was in jail, became a mayor. Diba? He's a University of the Philippines a student at that time. Respetado siya. His heart was in the right place. And he figured, while I'm here, I might as well try to help. And yun naman yung isang kagandahan na nangyari yan. That's why I brought it up. Because clearly, somebody like Raymond Narag has the ear right now of the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Corrections. And I personally think it's heartening na pinakikinggan siya. He has a real voice now in these efforts for reform.
Well, we'll see.
And that's it for the Chiefs. We'll see you again next week. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Ami Pamintuan.
Ako po si Robbie Alampay. We are One News.